Thanks for joining today. We're going to start with Becky Williams from Sky.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Good, thank you, yourself.
Yeah, not bad at all. Just to start with team news, who's available, if that's all right?
Yeah, we've got a full squad to choose from. I think Mamadou Sakho will need to be assessed. He had to lead the training today, but I don't know quite how serious that was. But he's the only one, apart from all the long-term injuries that have already been discussed in great detail during the last few months.
West Ham now up to 6th. How dangerous a side would you say they are? What do you think the main challenges, the main threats are?
Well, I think they're very good. I think they're a very good run of form as well. I think they've won 4 of their last 5 games, which is a fantastic thing to be able to do in the Premier League, wherever you find yourself in the table. And they've signed some very good players. They've got a nucleus, if you like, of a team which has been together for a while. And I think they're looking like very strong contenders for a place, certainly in the top half of the table. And maybe David Moyes and the club will be hunting for something even greater than that.
To ask you about Vicente Guaita, because obviously at the weekend he made some good saves, but he also let slip that Tottenham goal. What's your assessment of his form at the moment?
It's good. It's been good consistently throughout the time he's been at the club. It's 2.5 years now. I'm afraid all goalkeepers are going to get a situation where the ball does something a little bit unusual, like the Kane shot that swerved past him, but he certainly made up for that many times over, and his performances throughout his time at the club have been very consistent. So I certainly don't, or have never felt any need to question his ability or his place in the team.
Crystal Palace this season, form probably been a bit inconsistent. What are the areas that you think need strengthening?
Inconsistent in which sense? I mean, we've taken more points than we've ever done at this stage of the season before, so we're obviously more consistent than we've been in the last 4 seasons since I've been at the club, and I can't answer for the time before that, but certainly I don't find any problems with our consistency during the spell I've spent at the club.
Okay, we'll go on to tiers then, because tier 3 London's now in, which is obviously going to have a massive impact on the clubs in the capital and some in the southeast. You won't be able to have fans this weekend, and obviously your game against West Ham won't have fans either. What kind of impact does that have? And do you think that it's a bit of an imbalance when some clubs are able to have fans in?
Well, I think we've had to come to terms with that for a long period of time, that you can't get a complete uniformity and a complete equality, because the virus strikes in different ways and in different areas. I think it's very unfortunate for the fans who have been looking forward to coming back to matches. We were very grateful to see the 2,000 that could attend our match against Tottenham on Sunday. They were a big help. They were very enthusiastic, and it was very clear that they loved being back in the open air, watching the game live. And we were hoping, of course, that would continue. But the government has decided that the measures that need to be taken are locking down London to a higher tier. And I'm afraid all of us in football just have to accept that. And there are so many people who are being disadvantaged in many ways by the changes in the tier system. I don't think we in football can regard ourselves as being any more hard done by than anyone else in the country.
I also wanted to ask you about, the really sad news yesterday. A very good friend of yours, Gerard Houllier, your reaction and, your memories.
Well, I'm afraid the memories are too long for your programme, because we go back a very long way, and we have remained close friends during that period of time, and have spent a lot of time together in each other's company, not least of all during the technical study groups for Europe, for UEFA and FIFA, and for the various meetings that spring from those technical study groups. I first met him in 1986 when he was manager of Paris Saint-Germain, and he brought a team to Geneva to play in an indoor tournament, and Malmo met them there. And after that, he was instrumental when I first went to Switzerland in 1990, helping me spend some time with Arsene Wenger and then himself and Michel Platini around a national team game, which was also aimed at getting me reaccustomed to the French language, which I hadn't been accustomed to for many years. And from then onwards, our paths crossed so many times. I just share in all the tributes and the outpourings of grief that I've seen over the last 24 hours. I think it's fantastic that so many people have said so many good things about him, and all the good things that have been said are very deserved. He was a man of great quality, great social skills, great social grace, a true gentleman, as I've heard mentioned, and the football world has lost one of its key figures in Gerard Houllier, and I can only, if you like, add my voice to the many that are lamenting his death, and of course to pass on my sincere condolences to Isabel, his widow.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We'll go to Lindsay Hooper at PLP.
Yeah, sorry for your loss there, Roy. Moving back onto the game against West Ham now, and them being another one of the teams that I think have impressed this season along with yourselves, which part of the pitch have they impressed you the most?
In the penalty box, in particular the opponent's penalty box, I think they've been very good at creating and taking the chances that have come their way. I think they've been exceptionally good at set plays. They've been a real force from corner kicks and wide free kicks with the players they have to be used at the moment. They're very strong in the air. They've got many players who are good at attacking the ball. But most importantly of all, I think they found a way of playing, a system of playing which suits all the players. I think they are extremely solid in every area of the game. And at the moment, I think we're meeting one of the form teams of the league when we go to play them tomorrow night.
Can I speak to you as well about Zaha? Because it seems that he's being way more efficient with his dribbling this season. Is that something that you've worked on?
Well, to be fair, you don't suddenly start working on things with Wilf. I've been here almost 4 years and we've been working steadily together all of that time. But I think he has come to the conclusion that if he's going to score more goals, he needs to be a bit more selfish. He needs to be a bit more focused on just that aspect of the game, and maybe that impacts a little bit on the amount of dribbling that he's able to do. But the fact is, we regard him very, very highly. We appreciate all of his skills, not least of all his dribbling skills. And I think as the years go by, with the experience he gets, the more games he gets under his belt, the more he realises what are the most important things for him to do in order to advance his career. We're seeing a better and better player with every year that goes by.
Having spoken to him this morning as well, he seems to really be enjoying Eze taking on some attacking responsibility. It doesn't feel like it's all on his shoulders anymore.
No, I think that's a little bit harsh with all the other players that we've used during these years to suggest that he hasn't had any support from other players. I'd like to think he has. We certainly have worked in our training sessions to try and provide that support for him and to try and get other players to share the burden. But of course, Eze has started the season extremely well with us and has brought the skills that he had at QPR here and had immediate effect with them. So I'm pleased to hear that Wilf and he are establishing some sort of relationship. And of course, if that can continue, we're going to have a couple of quality players for each of our opponents to think about when they're doing their preparation for the game.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Lindsay. Alex from BBC, do you have a question?
Yep. Hi, Roy. Cahill and Cheku Kiarte have been playing centre-back. Would you say they're the first choice pairing for you at the moment?
Well, we've got a lot of competition in that position, but certainly they were my first choice pairing for the last game, and I thought that they did very well in the game against a top quality team. So I'm very happy to have been able to choose them, and I'm very happy with the way they responded to being selected. But having said that, there's still James Tompkins and Scott Dowd and Mamadou Sakho, and eventually Martin Kelly when he recovers from his slight calf pull to consider too. So I'm not prepared publicly to say this is the first pairing. I still want it to be a competition between everybody, and I think during the course of the season that remains, we're going to need them all anyway, because none of them are in the first flush of youth. And, all of them have had at times during my time at the club quite lengthy spells out with injury. Fortunately, at the moment, they don't have that. We can't close our eyes and imagine it will never happen again. And there could come a time when I'm absolutely delighted to have so many players to choose from. At the moment, it's a bit of a headache because whichever two I choose, I'm leaving 4 other good ones out.
And if I could just ask a question about Jeffrey Schlupp as well. I've seen him play in a number of positions and he played on the right in the last game. How useful is it to have a player that can play in so many positions? And is he the most versatile that you've worked with?
Well, I don't know about most versatile. Whether he's up there, of course, but then I have to really rack my grades. We've never really seen him as an out-and-out defender. I know he had a couple of spells before I came as a fullback. I think he even played once or twice during my time as a fullback, but we've never really thought of him long-term as a defender. We regard him as an attacking player, which means he's really played across the midfield, which he's more than capable of doing. At the moment, he's playing on the right side, able to cut in on his good left foot because we want Ezzy to be able to do the same thing on the other side. But I could quite easily switch those two over, and I don't think it will make a vast difference to our game. I'm just pleased for him after spells of injury. We haven't always been able to use him for any length of time. He seems at the moment to be in a good place. He's not injured. He's certainly in good form, and all the skills that we've always admired in Jeffrey Smith, they're still there. In fact, they're there with a vengeance.
Thanks. That's it from me.
Is it?
Thank you. Broadcast questions. I think there are, in which case we'll end the broadcast section there and then move on to the